You're 22.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're already here, welcome back. My name is Jikaria, and I know it's been a long time since I filmed a video like this, and I'm so glad I'm filming this one because I needed to film this one. It's been a long time, and today in this video I'm going to be talking about delay is not denial. And before I start, I want to say that I saw this video on TikTok about someone who said destiny delayed is not destiny denied because she completed school after her friends had completed school. She sat in school, she failed several times, and I think that's a really good thing because she really proved that destiny delayed is not destiny denied because she went through it. She went through the life battles, the struggles that everyone goes through in uni, and I think that's a good one. I also want to say that sometimes we go through a season where we don't even know that we are being delayed because God promised us that he's going to do this for us, but then he doesn't do it because we are being delayed. And in that season, we might think that God has abandoned us, but in Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5, it says that I will never leave you or abandon you. I will never forsake you. And I think that's a really good verse that we should remember every time we go through seasons like that. But we might not remember these verses, but that's why we need to learn a Bible every day. And I think when we get to that season, we need to pray more. And we're going to be learning about two people in the Bible, and they are both male, and it's Joseph and David. And before I start, I also wanted to say that Abraham and Sarah waited for 25 years before they had their first son together. Deep it. 25 years waiting for God to give you a child, waiting for God to help you conceive because you can't conceive, and 25 years is actually a long one. They probably were thinking, God, are you there? Is everything okay? What did we do? Sometimes our disobedience can lead to the delay. Sometimes God is redirecting us not to go this way. So the first character we are going to be talking about is Joseph. He was 17 years old when he started having dreams where he was leading his family, his brothers, his mother, his parents, and they rebuked him. Especially his dad. He was like, how are you going to lead your family? How are you going to lead us if you are the younger one? Because you can't. And in this modern age, I'm sure that everyone knows that you being a younger child, you can lead your parents. Like, let's be for real, you can lead your parents. Your little sister can lead you if you're older than her. You can't lead your grandmother, you can lead your mother, you can lead your father. Everything is like, the parents are going to lead you because they are older than you. They've been through life lessons, they've been through life struggles, and they know what lies ahead, so they're going to tell you this is what you should do. But you being a child, you can't tell them that this is what's going to happen. He's been there before. And so they rebuked him and they planned to sell him, actually to kill him. So they planned to kill him, but one of his brothers suggested that they should sell him to the Egyptians as a slave. And I think that's a blessing because if they didn't sell him, he would have died with his dream. He would have died with his destiny. And they sold him to the Egyptians as a slave, and he went there. He went to Egypt. Lots of things happened. They falsely accused him of having sex or something to do with Potiphar's wife. Potiphar was like a great person in Egypt, and he had to be arrested because why are you doing something with a greater person's wife? And he didn't do anything. I think his brother's telling him it was a blessing, and it was a redirection from God, because if he had stayed in his home or wherever that he lived with his parents and his brothers, they would have discouraged him and say bad things about his dreams, discourage him from trying to lead his family, trying to lead his parents, because I can't lie, if my little brother tells me that he's gonna lead me, I'm gonna be like, bro, just chill. In Egypt, he went to jail, he came back, and in the jail he was interpreting, in the prison he was interpreting people's dream, and in the dream people go there and don't forget about him. People go and get out of the prison, they forget about him, get out, forget about him, and in the dream he's probably gonna think, Lord, are you there? have you abandoned me? That he being in prison, if I was to be the one in prison, I'm gonna think as well, God, why is this happening? I know that you promised that I'm gonna do this. You promised I'm gonna be a leader. You promised I'm gonna be leading my parents, leading my family, leading my brothers, but now my brother is in somewhere else and I'm in prison. How am I going to lead them? So the day finally came and the cupbearer thought like, oh, there's this guy in prison who interpreted my dreams and it came true and da 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 da. That's when Joseph is actually there, and he told Potiphar, and Potiphar got Joseph out of their prison. And the dream was so on point because God actually made Potiphar had that dream at that time so that Joseph can come out at that moment to interpret the dream. That's why it says in Isaiah chapter 60 verse 22 that at the right time I, the Lord, will make it happen. Joseph being in prison, he's going to be like, wow, God, is that really you? And he's going to be like, it is finished, because at this point if people come there, he's gonna get killed, or he's gonna die in prison, or he's never gonna come out. And I think the prison was his hiding place where God was preparing him, that whatever goes on, he's using this to train him so that if he goes through another life lesson where he feels like God is not there, he's going to know that God's love is with him and nothing is going to separate him from the love that God has for him. So at that moment when he interpreted the dream to Potiphar, he was like, oh, I'm going to put you in charge. If I'm not there, you're there. Tell me this is not a blessing. Do you think if Joseph was to stay with his parent and his brother, do you think this was going to happen? You wouldn't have even guessed how he's going to become in charge if Potiphar is not there. And for someone to be even accused that you were actually going to have sex or rape Potiphar's wife, do you think he was going to tell him to become in charge of him? If at that time he got like released 2 months ago or 3 months ago, Potiphar would be like, oh bro, you tried raping my wife. So he's not going to forgive him, but instead he would have killed him, because why did you do this to my wife, and why are you going to explain a dream to me? He probably wouldn't believe him, but at that moment God didn't let that happen. Instead, probably years after or weeks after, it's not going to be weeks, but probably like months or years after, Potiphar made him interpret the dream, and then he made him in charge. And I think that was Joseph's blessing. His delay was him being in prison, and was him being not remembered by the people that he interpreted the dreams for them to get out. But to get out, that was his delay, and his blessings was being in charge of Potiphar. That means as in Potiphar was in charge of the whole Egypt, and if he's not there, you're going to be there. Can you imagine? And his blessing was that his brothers also came from wherever they were, I don't know, but they came to Egypt, and he was able to help them by feeding them from the famine in their other country that they came from. He finally brought his family into a place where they were going to have feast every day, they're going to be rich, they're going to be eating every day rather than being in famine. That is really his dream come true, because in the dream he saw that he was leading his parents, he was leading his family, and it actually came true because he was in charge of Potiphar. If Potiphar was not there, he was there. So he's a leader, and he was actually finally leading his parents and his brother. You never know when your blessing is going to come. You think you've been delayed, but I've been there before. It got to a time where I thought I've been delayed, but everything works for a reason, and God works at the right time. Just like he says, there's a place for everything. He knows there's a place for everything. There's a place and time for everything. He knows it, and his clock is not our clock. His time is not my time. He's going to say soon, but soon is going to look like 1,000 years for me. It's going to look like 2,000 years for you, but it's going to look like 5 seconds for him. His clock is not your clock. His clock is not my clock. So I think that's Joseph's story, and it's actually so good. And if you can, you actually need to sit down and learn about the story, because it starts from Genesis chapter 37 to 50, and I've summarized it for you. You have to do your research and read it more. And so we are going to speak about the next character, that is David. David's blessing started when God sent Samuel to go to the house of Jesse and find a kid for him. So when Samuel went, he was looking for someone who's tall, someone who's handsome, fit, has biceps. If I was to go, I would have looked at the same person. Samuel looked for everyone, but God was like, these are not the people that I'm looking for. So they waited for David to come, and God was like, this is what I want. This is the person I'm looking for to become king of the Israelites. And so he was anointed. At a very young age, David got anointed as the king of Israel, but he wasn't like official. it wasn't official. Saul was still the king of Israel. David would be very confused, because he's probably gonna be like, why is he being anointed as king if there's already a king in Israel? If we already have a king in Israel, if Saul is still alive, if he's not dead, why is he going to be a king? So now there was an army between the Israelites and the Philistines, and all the army, all those who had like biceps, all those who have been trained and are in the army were scared, because there was this giant guy in that army called Goliath, and they're probably like, who's gonna kill this guy? We are probably defeated, because no one can actually kill this guy. And so David, being a small boy, got 5 stones and a sling, and with the power of God and the strength of God, he killed Goliath. And I think that was his lesson as well, because being able to kill Goliath at that age with a stone and a sling is actually powerful. You cannot tell me that science can do that. You can tell me that gravity can do that. Gravity can't do that. Whilst he was taking care of the sheep, a bear came, he killed the bear, and a wolf also came, he killed the wolf. So he's probably like, oh, this is a small job, I've killed a bear before, I've killed a wolf before, why can't I kill a giant? So that actually helped him. That's actually a blessing, because God used whatever that he learned while taking care of the sheep to actually train him to kill Goliath. And that's actually rule number 1, and a lesson to be learned from David's story, because God used his situation to train him. So maybe you waiting for long and actually waiting on God, trusting him, is a sign that God is actually going to bring what you're waiting for. He's training you to trust in him, he's training you to have patience in him, and at the end of the time, he's going to do whatever he has promised. Whatever the devil has planned, God is going to use it for his glory, and he's going to turn all around, and it's going to be good for you. When Saul found out that David has been anointed as the next king of Israel, he was actually jealous, because why is that I have a son there and he's going to be the king of Israel if it's not my son? So Saul got jealous, and David was actually also scared for his life, because every time Saul tried to kill him for doing nothing, and that's also probably going to be David's worry. God, I'm going to be king. When am I going to be king? Why is he threatening me? Why is he doing this to me? I haven't done anything. Why is he trying to kill me? He's probably going to question God a lot. But whilst he was in this situation, he actually got so many chances of killing Saul, about like 2 times, but he didn't kill Saul. And that's actually him being respectful and being obedient, because why should he kill someone that he hasn't done anything to? So all the times that Saul tried to kill David, God used it for his own for his glory. God turned it around, and nothing actually happened to him. Whenever Saul is going to do something to David, God turns it around. It's either he makes Saul fall asleep, or something else happen, or David escapes. God gives him the wisdom and the strength and discernment to escape from the threats of Saul. After Saul's death, David was anointed as king of Israel and of Judah. He's probably going to be like, oh, finally. But he didn't say that. He was actually grieved, because why is he dead? Why did he die? And eventually, I mean, his blessing came, so he was happy that he became the king of Israel and the king of Judah. After all these years that Samuel anointed David to become king, even though Samuel died before David became a king, Saul also died, and they all didn't see this, they all didn't witness this. God used his life lessons to teach him how to train the people, because it got to a time where he was leading the army. It got to a time where he was defeating the people that they fought with. It got to a time where he defeated everyone that came across him. It got to a time where he asked God, can I go and fight these people? And God would be like, yes. God would even give him strategies of how to kill these people, how to defeat them. And he actually did all these, and that was his blessing. His blessing was being anointed as a king. His delay was being there. His delay was being there doing nothing, and Saul trying to kill him for doing absolutely nothing, and his blessings finally came. So I think all these things that I've said between Joseph and David, there are similarities of where their blessings were delayed, and God actually used their life lessons to teach them and prepare them into their new season of life. And I think that's what maybe God is doing in your life. He's probably teaching you how to wait. He's teaching you how to wait patiently, trust in him and rely on him, and believe that if anything, he's not going to leave you. If anything, he's the one who's going to provide for you. He's your restorer. He's going to provide. He's going to feed you wherever you are, wherever you are. Trust that God is going to help you. I hope you learned something from this video, and just know that delay is not denial. You being delayed doesn't mean you're denied. Maybe I'm delayed or something that I don't know, probably because of my own disobedience, because this video was supposed to be filmed ages ago. I asked for a sign, and I got the sign, but I was still delaying. And I don't know if I've missed a blessing. I've probably missed a blessing, but hey, I've done it. God is attracted to our obedience, not our disobedience, and my disobedience probably took him back from me. And I know that he's still with me, but hey, I don't know if my blessing has been delayed, but if it has been delayed, I pray to God that he restores it back, because I actually need whatever blessing that I've delayed. And I hope you learned something from this video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.